And literally, if you miss like the 10 best days, right. If you miss the 10 best days, you could be down, you know, on average 7%, you know, 5 to 7% lower than someone that would have just left it there. And the example I always use is in 2018, the market was down on Christmas Eve 600 points, and I was actually sick that day and pretty much in bed the whole Christmas vacation. But we have a nervous Nelly client. I talked to him last Friday, and I know that if I would have answered his phone call that day, he would have just been like, just put it all in cash, because that's just he's very reactionary, and you know, worked for IBM for 38 years, and then you know now he worries about everything. Didn't have anything to do but worry. And well, the next day is still the single highest day in the market. The day after Christmas of December 18, the market's up over 1,000 points. So it just proves you never know what's going to happen, and you can't time it. None of us can time it. All of our crystal balls are broken. Someone tells you they can time it, or they know this is going to be a winner. Don't believe them. So that's just stay invested, and stay invested for your risk tolerance. That's most important, because in the roller coaster one. So we wanted to kind of bring it home to you guys, for y'all. And I tell Zach, I tell everybody this: realtors and hairdressers are the worst investors. Y'all are great about enjoying and priding yourself on all the money that you make and how hard you work, because you do work really hard. But you're horrible at saving for yourself. Like my hairdresser, she makes a ton of money, but she, you know, she's got 2 girls in dance and all this stuff. I mean, I know when I was in school, we got all our uniforms and everything. I was not in dance, but we got all our uniforms free. Well, now she has to pay like $7,000 to $8,000 a year for her 2 girls and then that's just for their uniforms. That's for them to participate when they make it to different competitions. Now she's got to pay additional. I'm just like, that's insane.
And they grow.
And they grow. Yes, and now they need new uniforms. That's a great point. So it's just, it's amazing. But I always say realtors and hairdressers are the worst for saving and planning for retirement, because you just think, I can do this forever. I mean, I can do this in my sleep. Well, it's one of those things where hopefully you don't have to. Well, if you want to, that's great. But if you have to, that's different. So one of the ways that you guys can save for yourself is creating your own IRA. And you can do it as a SEP IRA, and then the next slide is you can do an owner 401k. I believe you're all 1099 employees, so you guys can kind of create your own way of saving and your own personal way. A couple of positives for the SEP IRAs: you can actually do up to 25% of your salary. That's all tax deductible on an annual basis, so hopefully that makes some of your ears perk up. It is tax deferred growth. Anything you put in a SEP IRA, you don't pay taxes on it. So if you put $10,000 in now and then you let it sit there for 15 years until you're 65 or whatever, then once you take that out, then it will become an ordinary income at a rate, whatever that rate is then, but you won't be making as much as you are now. So help yourself and reduce your taxes. That's one thing we get all the time. I don't want to pay any taxes. I don't want to pay any taxes. Our CPA client on Monday is like, I don't want to pay any taxes. Like, but you know, there's a break-even point there. So, but you don't have any capital gains. You don't. There's nothing that you have to pay on an annual basis until you start taking this distribution. So it can really help tremendously, and kind of figure out how much you need to save and how much you want to be able to create for your wealth throughout your lifetime. And whether it's $3,000 a month, $5,000 a month, $9,000 a month, whatever it is. We can kind of work with you on a plan to do that. So distributions after age 59 are taxed at their ordinary income, as I said, and then it's included as you take those withdrawals. If you take $5,000 a year or $60,000 a year, then that would be your ordinary income for that year during the distribution and retirement. So next slide, and this just kind of hits the highlights of the solo 401k, and it's again for owner businesses. All contributions are pre-tax. Those would be deducted during the year that you actually make the contribution. Again, it's tax deferred growth, and there's no capital gains throughout the years that you leave it in there just to let it go and grow. Is there any questions on that, or?
We on the SEP IRA, the amount that you can deduct is how much of your base salary?
It's up to 25% of your annual salary.
Okay, so
Is it both? Like
Great question. So you actually can do a SEP IRA, and if you were working for another company where you were a W-2 employee, you could actually have a 401k there. But for your own individual, you can't have a SEP in a solo 401k.
But is it 25% of the 401k?
Oh, actually, you can actually save more with the 401k, because as your business, you can actually do a profit sharing as well. So you can actually save a little bit more for the 401k.
Are you now too late for 2021?
No, you can actually, yeah, you can still do a SEP IRA. 401ks take a little bit, that's, a lot of people defer to the SEP because 401ks take a little bit more time to set up, but the
Right.
SEP, you're not too late.
The stuff's kind of up to the file.
Exactly.
Right, yep.
And your own business.
So it's not too late.
Yeah, it's not too late.
Yes.
To scratch some pennies together. We can go collect cans, I used to do that when I was little.
If I started a solo 401k a long time ago and then never continued, is it still like,
Is it still open?
yeah,
Is it?
and I feel bad.
No, no, it's not, no.
It's a long time.
I did
Are
a
you-
company, like
Yeah.
Trinity or something. like,
Yeah.
It's
But
like
so if I moved it over, and then also like if I have a Roth IRA,
Mhm.
and you can only put so much in there, and then it's real estate agents like you make, you show a certain point of money that you make and you can't add anymore.
Exactly.
Can you like change that to a sub IRA, or do you have to start over again?
So you can't change it to a SEP IRA, but even if you have your old 401k, we could look at it. But you actually could create different buckets for your 401k. You could have a pre-tax bucket and you could also have a Roth bucket. Also with the Roth, that is so we all know Congress does what benefits Congress. So one loophole that they are always going to close, but somehow never gets closed, is what's considered a backdoor Roth. So for any of us that make too much money to contribute to the Roth directly, what you can do is, if you make too much money to contribute to a Roth, you're going to make too much money to contribute to a traditional IRA and have that deducted from your taxes. So what you do is open a traditional IRA, make a contribution. It's a non-deductible contribution. You've already paid taxes on that. And then the very next day, you convert that to your Roth. It's called a backdoor Roth, and it's a way to still contribute to your Roth and let that go and grow and forever not have to pay taxes on any of the, you're already paying taxes on the contribution, but you don't pay any taxes on the growth. And as you take that out in retirement, you don't pay any taxes as well. So it's just a little loophole that somehow is always open, because who does it benefit? Congress. Because most of all of them make sense. You would be able to be allowed to be able to contribute to it, draw that.
So yeah, the next slide is just asking any
Just
questions that you have.
So you guys are already doing it?
Yeah, already doing that, but I think it just goes back to the point of everything that we talked about, is just understanding your goals, what you're looking for, how we can help. We're not just stockbrokers. We don't just trade stocks all day, every day. We more or less 90% of our time is getting a better understanding of what our clients are looking for and how we can help, and building those goals and keeping them on track. And when they retire, I mean, that's the biggest thing that people worry about. You no longer have a paycheck coming in. So how can we create an income plan from the amount that you've saved and worked hard to save for? But with that, any other questions, anything else on top of mind? Like Leah said, there's no bad questions at all.
So check to check, obviously real estate goes commission. You guys, like, I think you're right on the fact that there's a lot, especially I just don't really say a whole lot. How does that work for you guys, or for us, if we want to opt in per commission? Because like, you guys probably have a monthly basis, quarterly basis for people, but if we want to take a percentage, is that something that you can work with?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it doesn't have to be a set amount every month. I know you guys are very fluid. So yeah, I mean, Dollar and Annette, they're really the two people that we work for. They make us look good every day, but yeah, we have clients that come in and say, hey, I got, $7,000 bonus this month. I've got a $3,000 bonus this month. It doesn't matter. So you can just do as much as you can, or you got $300 or $400. So it doesn't, yeah, some people set it up to where it's just a set amount, and other people just call in every month and say, hey, this is how much I have this month. So.
But does it have to be monthly, or can it be?
No, it could be,
quarterly?
yep, quarterly or annually.
Great, it's
So,
last minute stuff.
yeah. Or, I mean,
1 year, 2 year.
and annually, I mean, I think that's, when I switched, so I was in the military for forever, and then you switch to a commission-based business, and you're like, and you've got that 3 to 6 months living expenses that you want to kind of, but even if it's annually, it's like, okay, I just need to leave all this money in there and live off of it, and then if I have this much in there at the end of the year, then I can be like, okay, anything over that goes, goes in my future. So I mean, it can be really whatever is comfortable for you. And that's what we, like Zach said, we don't day trade. We are not stock jockeys. We don't sit there and, it's not local Wall Street or anything like that. We've developed a financial plan with you. And then as you get closer to retirement, we develop an income plan, distribution plan. And we're just here to work with clients on an individual basis. So it's flexible, it's however, however it works for you.
Good question.
One question?
I gotta put her on the spot.
Yeah.
So.
I think that was awesome.
Okay, so just one more question, sorry, I have so many questions, but, so it's, the market is not great right now, right? Like, you keep hearing blah, 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 it's going down, stock market, like, for people who are like younger in here, or even our age, like, would you suggest like still taking money, because you always hear like when things are down, like that builds millionaires in the long run, right? So would you say, yeah, like take $10,000 and go invest, like, if you guys suggest that, like,
100%.
realistic?
It's, basically when COVID happened and the market dropped, then y'all probably don't feel it as much as we do, but the market dropped faster than it ever has and sharper than it ever has. So Zach and I were talking, and I was like, call everybody. You say, if you've got an extra $2,000 in the bank, if you've got an extra $20,000 in the bank, call us. And it's funny, you think you know your clients and you talk to them all the time. And I mean, you guys know your clients and the houses they want and all this, and all of a sudden they'll throw you a curveball. Well, we have one client, and I talk to him regularly, and he actually served with me, and I call him and I was like, hey, you got, whatever you got, send it to me, because these are the 4 stocks I'm gonna put in. He's like, well, I have like, 100, 150 grand. I'm like, are you kidding me? So we put it all in. I mean, yeah, this is the time. And it's one of those things where you think, oh, I'm gonna retire in 5 or 10 years. But the part that people don't think about is you're gonna retire in 5 or 10 years, but thanks to preservatives, thanks to us, getting our steps in every day or whatever, we're all living a lot longer. So that money, yeah, I mean, you might have spent 30 or 40 years creating that wealth bucket, but now you want that wealth bucket to last for 25 to 30 years. So you can't just put it all, to Zach's point, you can't put it all in cash and just think that it's gonna be there. You've got to have a plan. And so knowing that you might have 5 or 10 years to retirement, but then you still want that money to last. So you want it to work for you, and this is the time. Like Zach and I are always angry when we don't have any cash to on the sidelines right now. Because it's like, shoot, I wish I'd bought that stock now instead of, 6 days ago or, 2 months ago. So yeah, it's, take the opportunity when you got them, because yeah, this is the time to invest, absolutely. It's the hardest thing, but as Warren Buffett says, be greedy when others are fearful and be fearful when others are greedy. So that's part of our psychiatrist degree that we don't have, that we incorporate every day.
I mean, you were here. I didn't talk more.
You have so many questions.
2022, I'm gonna be a listener. Yeah.
Why were they all shocked by that?
Sage world. I have a question. What sets you all apart from different, maybe bigger companies or?
That's great. Yeah, that's a great question. A lot of times it's the investments that you can. So Zach and I both used to, well, I started at USA and then we both went to Edward Jones. And at Raymond James, we have a lot more investment options available. So one example is when I was at USA, we couldn't do options. When I was at USA, we didn't do structured investments and stuff like that. Same with Edward Jones. So now we can do structured products, which are a way to protect you on the downside, but also let you participate in the upside of the market. So there's a lot of different investment options and things like that. So that's a great question. Yeah.
And to that point, I think the thing that makes us different from a lot of the big companies is that you can call either of us, not at any time, but a lot of the time, right? And we're going to answer and we're going to know exactly what's going on with you. You're not going to call a 1-800 number and get Joe Blow or whoever it is on the line that doesn't know your specific situation and how you're feeling, especially when the markets are going down. I mean, we have relationships with our clients. We have an understanding of what they're going through and what their mindset is, and can help them and walk them through that instead of just calling a 1-800 number and hoping for the best and hope that you get someone that's in a good mood that day. Yeah, good question.
Yeah, that's great point, Zach. I mean, we actually just found out one of our clients passed away Tuesday night. And it was we got the email yesterday evening, and so we reached out and called the family last night. So you won't be that on the 1-800 number.
No.
Now,
Well, good. If y'all think of anything or anything comes up, like Leah said, our cards are kind of all over the place. We have a couple packets back there. Feel free to reach out. We'll just be a soundboard for you. We don't even have to be working together. If you have a question, we're happy to answer it. We're happy to be there for family, friends, whoever, and get you through some of this market pullback that we're seeing and past that. So if y'all need anything, just let us know.
I got one more question.
Yes, sir.
All right, so my wife, we both have 401ks at our old companies. Can we bring those 401ks to you and let you invest and do all that stuff for us?
Yes, sir. Yeah, you're not employed there anymore? Okay, yeah, absolutely. You can roll those over into an IRA, and the difference between that is just more flexibility on the options that you have for investments, right? I mean, you can sit in S&P 500 and you're on the highs, but you're also on the very, very lows. So us being able to protect that for you and get you a little bit more on the long term, for sure. So great question. Well, great. It was great seeing everybody, meeting everybody.
I'll send out their info to you.
Yeah.
especially if you want.
Thank you all again. Thank you all for having us.
Thank you.
Yeah.